Well, good morning. It's a bright sunny day here in western Michigan. I'm out here doing my chores. This is actually Paul from the future. As you can see in the background, we've got winter weather all over the place. In this video, we're actually going to show you some things that happened back in the fall that I just haven't gotten into a video yet. We're almost caught up and we'll be on to present day activities soon. Since the events of our last video, we've had Thanksgiving, we've had Christmas. Karen and I have even taken a trip down to Houston to visit family and friends back in Texas. But we're back here and getting ready to engage in another building season. Today's video will actually cover some of the things that still happened in the fall, some projects that we did to make the place more workable from an off-grid perspective. Some problems we had to fix, just some general maintenance that we do, and kind of a daily routine. I hope you enjoy the episode.
So what are we working on today, Dad?
Well, we fired the boiler up a couple weeks ago, and I came out in the evening a couple times. Hey, Grandpa's trying to talk. Can you be quiet for a few minutes? Okay. We fired up the boiler a week ago, and I came out here during the evenings to tend the fire a couple times. And it was so dark in the evening, I realized right away that I needed some light out here in the woodshed. So what we're doing today is we're actually wiring up some lights. There will be 4 inside of here, and there's a switch right beside the door that you can flip on the lights. It goes down and ties into the electrical circuit that the boiler is actually on. So we're using all these metal boxes out here just to provide a little bit more protection. One of the things that's different about a metal box versus the plastic or fiber boxes that you might use inside your house is that they are conductive of electricity. And if the wire were to get pulled on or something like that, and the hot wire actually touched the box, and then you touch the box, you could shock yourself. So one of the things you have to do when you're working with a metal box is that you have to take and bond a wire, a ground wire, to the box itself, and then that runs in and ties in with your ground wire in the electrical circuit as well. And that will make it so that if the hot wire actually connects with the box, it has a way to go back and complete the circuit and trip the breaker. So since we're running the wire out here outside of a wall, and it is above ground, we're actually using this metal clad cable. It's an MC grade, metal clad. And the idea is that you give it some protection as opposed to like a typical plastic Romax connection that could get nicked and scratched or poked over time. So it gives the wire just a little bit more protection. So Mom went over to the power shed and actually flipped the breaker back on for here, so let's see if we have light. Hey. That's what I want to see. Thank you.
Wait, can I try?
Can you touch the...
Any help?
Woohoo!
Yeah. So woke up this morning with a little bit of wetness here in the boiler. See it around the foundation. I'm like, what the heck? What's leaking? Checking all my fittings and stuff. Everything's dry. Better check outside. So I built this box here to transition the incoming hot water from our boiler into the barn's heating system. The problem is I'm discovering that it's leaking. I'm gonna have to take this thing apart. You can see it's all wet down here. Well, I took the thing apart and kind of cleaned all of the foam back away from the pipes, trying to figure out what it is that's leaking down here. Look what I discovered. Check that guy right out. It never got clamped. Yeah, fire the installer.
Fire the plumber.
Fire that plumber.
Fire!
Yeah, that plumber is me. So all I have to do is get the crimp tool out, crimp this thing. We'll get this thing back together and stop the leak. And without too much trouble, I refoamed it, put it all back together. It's ready for the winter. So one of the daily routines that I've had to get used to now with the wood-fired boiler is just going out every day and checking it, feeding it with new firewood. I actually let it go a little too long this time, and the control panel says that the fire is out. But this will give me a good chance to get down into the ashes and kind of break that up and clear the air passages. So that's okay. You can actually see down in here that there are a few pieces of wood still left, and there's still some heat down in that ash, in that coal bed. If you look down in there now after I've stirred it up, you can see all the coals that are still hot. It wouldn't take much now just to add some more dry wood on top of that thing, and once the air gets added, it'll start right up.
Freshly taken a shower and you have ash in your hair. Well, I apologize for the loud generator in the background, but we've had like 3 cloudy days in a row here, and so our batteries are down in the 20% range. So I thought I'd turn the generator on and get the system charging. Currently, I've got it running through an extension cord, 10 gauge wire that runs out to the generator, so I can pull 30 amps at a time. I do plan to kind of make this more permanent and get a direct connection out to the generator before it gets too cold. In the meantime, what I'm doing here is I need to do some maintenance on the heater that keeps this power shed warm. This power shed needs to stay warm because the batteries are lithium iron phosphate, and they need to be about 30 degrees, 32 degrees in order to charge properly. We have a propane furnace that's a direct vent out the back. It doesn't require any electricity, just propane. The problem that I have is that the little piezoelectric starter, the igniter, is not working correctly. So I've been digging into that. We'll see what we can do here to fix it. So the key problem is that the piezoelectric lighter is sitting right here on the right hand side of the flame, is not emitting an electric spark when you press the button. Normally this button up here on the top of the heater, when you press it, will generate a spark. Well, I pulled the unit out, and not sure that I can tell you exactly what is wrong with it, but it doesn't give a very healthy spark. So I've ordered some new ones, and those came in. Here's what the new one looks like. It's not an identical replacement, so we'll have to see whether we can even make this work. However, I am noticing one significant, striking difference. And down here, right above my thumb, is a little strip of metal. And what I've discovered after playing around with it just a little bit is that if that piece of metal is actually touching the frame of my furnace, the spark that comes off the end of the igniter is really healthy. If I'm not touching the metal frame, the spark is very anemic. So I compared the new one with the old one. This is the old one here. And it looks like there is a little space in here for a piece of metal. I'm betting that the reason I have a weak spark is that there isn't a good contact to the metal frame, thereby making the full electrical circuit incomplete. I'll swap it out and see if I can make an improvement. Well, after assembling it, I really don't have a way to secure it in there. Maybe I'll just add some more zip ties to try to make it stay put. Let's see what happens when we spark it, though. Oh yeah, that looks a lot more promising. Let me turn some gas on. Alright, and then I gotta come up here and set the pilot. Well, the next thing I need to do is I need to apply this gasket around the edge of this hole so that air doesn't come through. Part of the difficulty I was having last year was that as I would open and close the door of the shed, air would be forced in and out through this little orifice, and it would end up blowing out the pilot light. Alright, well, I got it put back together. Ended up putting gasket all around where the igniter and the pilot light are located. Well, we're going to call that good for now. It's putting out heat. I'm leaving it on the lowest setting because I don't need a lot of heat in here. But yeah, when it's cold, boy, if it just lights up, keeps this thing 40 degrees, I'll be super happy. Well, I'm going to be working on my to-do list, which is sometimes just maintenance items. Other times it's just things that I haven't completely gotten done, or things that are broken that need some repair. First thing that I'm focused on today is our electrical system. We ran the generator quite a bit during December and January because of the lack of sun. The generator is supposed to put out 10,000 watts, 240 volts at 60 hertz. However, it was fluctuating a bit off that 60 hertz level, and so we weren't able to use the generator quite the way it was supposed to, and I had to get the generator serviced this spring. We've gotten the generator back from the repair shop, and we're going to hook it back up and test it. I need to put
it back together a little bit and clean out the gas line that feeds the generator. I'll show you what I'm going to do, and here we go. All right, first thing I have to do is I need to take the gas line off the house, and I need to clean out the line. I had an inspector here that mentioned that bugs love the smell of that gas, and it will get in and build a home in the tube if you leave it open. So it was open for a short period of time, and I'm just going to make sure that it's clean before I put it all back together. This is a quick connect hose that allows the generator to be quickly connected or disconnected from the gas. I had to take this off and bring that with me to the repair shop because they didn't have a quick connect fitting. And so as a result, this hose came off, and there was the potential for bugs to actually get up inside this this first section of pipe over to the shutoff valve. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off, clean it out, and put it back together again. All right, we'll run this over. This is my 50 amp plug that goes into the generator inverter. There's actually a shut off switch inside that's off right now. So I'll have to turn that on before I actually use it. All right, let's go ahead and start this thing up. Switch to propane. I guess it would help turn the propane on. And it might take a minute or two here to get propane gas over to the engine. Okay, with the generator started, we can watch the meter on the unit. It cycles through a number of things. This one here is telling us 248 volts at 61.5 cycles per second. That's your hertz rating that we're paying attention to, especially right now. As the generator starts being used, it'll bog down. You can hear the generator die. And now we can see that we're at 247 volts. But our hertz rating is actually dropped down below 60 hertz, 59.8. So our little test showed that the generator actually started up, settled in at 60 to 61 hertz, which is well within tolerances for our needs. And then once the inverter kicked on, it dropped down to 59 hertz, also well within tolerance. So I think I'm going to say it's fixed and ready to go for another year. One of the upsides of having your own electrical system is that when you have power outages in the region because of snow and ice storms like we did this last year, you're not affected. That's the upside. The downside is that you have to maintain the whole system, and you have to have contingency plans in place if some part of the system goes bad. So during the winter time, we're counting on that yellow generator to produce electricity. However, if the yellow generator dies, we have a secondary generator here. This is a 5 kW Generac generator that can be used. It also produces 240 volt split phase.
but it only produces 20 amps worth. We have something over here that we just recently acquired called an EG4 charge verter, and it's a 5 kW charger. And what this allows us to do is it allows us to use other generators besides the main one that we've got. We also have a variety of cables here that allow us to charge off of other generators as well. For instance, we have a small 3.2 kilowatt Predator generator as our tertiary backup. So I wanted to show you just a little bit of the monitoring capabilities of our system as well. This first page is the main dashboard, and you can kind of see that there's a picture diagram that shows that we've got sun in the upper left hand corner of the picture hitting panels and going down into the charge controllers. You can see that we're generating 6.4 kilowatts right now. Of that, 4.7 kilowatts is actually going into the batteries, and we're consuming 1.7 kilowatts in the house. The generator is turned off, and so it is not feeding any electricity into the system. This is helpful just to know, well, how much power you're making, how much you're using, and how much you have on hand in your storage bank. Well, as winter approaches, we're frequently outside, going around the property, picking up wood that's been in wood stacks for a couple years and bringing it up to the woodshed.
All right.
These ones are heavier.
You think you can pick up a little one? Good job.
Yeah.
Some of the logs that we're bringing up are big enough that they need to be split. So Kieran's running the splitter to cut those into pieces and get those stacked. Slowly and surely, our log pile is starting to grow. I think we'll have enough for this winter. We'll let you know as we get towards spring. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Hey, and we'll see you on the next one.